bring order back to men's lives.
Welcome to my men's ministry, and I'm looking to talk about the 20 qualities of great executives. This is a video review of Patrick Bet-David's video entitled 20 Qualities of Great Executives. I might add a few and might take away from his, but for the gist of it, it is a video review of his quality workmanship that he always does, and I am a follower and listener of his podcast for many years. Here we go. Great executives are defined by a combination of qualities, including strategic vision, decision-making, and a high degree of emotional intelligence. They are also characterized by strong communication skills, integrity, resilience, which enable them to navigate challenges, inspire them, their teams, and other key attributes are accountability, adaptability, and a commitment to both personal and team development. So, core leadership and strategic qualities. Visionary. Possessing a clear, forward-looking vision to guide the organization. Strategic and decisive. The ability to think strategically and make timely, well-informed decisions. Accountability. Taking responsibility for their actions and outcomes of the organization. Integrity, acting with honesty and strong ethical principles. Resilience, bouncing back from setbacks and adapting to change. Interpersonal and team-oriented qualities. Well, here we go. Emotional intelligence, understanding and managing their own emotions and those others. Empathic, having a genuine concern for and understanding of their team members' well-being and prospects. Great communicators, clearly and effectively conveying information, vision, and feedback. Delegators, empowering others by entrusting them with responsibility and tasks. Working well with others and fostering a sense of connection within the team. Personal and character-driven qualities. Humility, recovering from their recognizing their own limitations and values, the contributions of others, curiosity, and a lifelong learner. Actively seeking new knowledge and understanding and being open to feedback. Confident, having a strong sense of self-assurance without being ignorant. Adaptable, meaning flexible and ability to adjust to new conditions. Courageous, willing to take necessary risks and take tough decisions, make tough decisions. Passionate, showing a deep commitment and emphasis for their work. Growth and development, focus on developing others, involving time in mentoring, developing their team skills and careers. Self-aware, understanding their own strengths, weaknesses, and biases. Results oriented, driving for outcomes while also managing the process effectively. Creativity and innovation, thinking outside the box to find new solutions and opportunities. So what does the Bible say, the KJV Bible? Since we like to refer to the KJV, we think that's the more honest and consistent book of all the Bibles. Let's see, integrity, walking honestly. and securely, being blameless and trustworthy. Where do we find that in the Bible? Okay, Proverbs chapter 10, verse 9. He that walketh upright walketh surely, but he that perverteth his way shall be known. Humility. Valuing others above one another, avoiding pride and so where do we find that? Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vanity, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem each other better than themselves. Serve by serving others, and not lording over them. So that's like not micromanaging them. So where do you find that in the Bible? Mark chapter 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man come not to be the minister unto minister, and to give his life as a ransom for many. So we got wisdom, seeking guidance from God and using the discernment in decision making. James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth all to men and liberally, and unbridled not, it shall be given unto him. So courage, being strong and not afraid in the face of challenges. Where do we find that in the Bible? Joshua 1:9. He have not I commanded thee, be strong of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be you dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee wherever you goeth. So here's another one. This is a great one. Self-control, being tempered and disciplined, controlling one's emotion and actions. So where do we find that? Where do we find such a bold statement in modern times? In modern times, they say you need passion. You need to be in touch with your emotions. You need to get in touch with your feminine side. Well, where do you find it? Oh, Titus chapter 1, verse 9. But a lover of hostility, and a lover of good, man, sober, just, holy, temperate. That was interesting. So the Bible does talk about self-control, self-restraint, not being overly emotional, loose with your words, but temperate, self-controlling. Great moment. Trustworthiness, being faithful in a small matter as well as large ones. Where do we find that in the Bible? Luke 16:10. That is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in least is unjust in much. That was pretty good. Justice, acting justly and fairly in all dealings. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. He showeth thee, O man, what is good, and what doeth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Lord. How about this? Love. Where is love? And what are we talking about? Doing everything with love and compassion for others. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14. Let all your things be done with charity. Wow. Patience. Exhibiting endurance and long suffering, and especially in difficult situations. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowls of mercies and kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering. Stewardship, responsibility, managing resources and people entrusted to the one's care. Where do you find it in the Bible? Well, let's look. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. As every man had received the gift, even so minister the same unto one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Empathy, sharing in the joys and sorrows of others. It's important, it's very important to be empathetic, but not allowing the other person to dwell in their problems too long, where they don't overcome and they stumble and fall and they don't get up. And then they resent you and things like that. So we need to empathize, right? Sharing in the joys and sorrows of others. Romans 12:15. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Dependability, being a faithful servant who can be relied upon. Where do we find that? In the Bible, Matthew 24:45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, who his Lord had made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Vision, having vision, providing guidance and direction, recognizing that without it, people perish. That's important for your children. So a good parent, a good executive, a good leader. So where do we find it in the Bible? Proverbs 29:18. Where is there no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Accountability, taking responsibility for actions and decisions. Where do we find that in the Bible? Romans 14:12. So then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Diligence, working hard and avoiding laziness. Where do we find it in the Bible? Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. He became the poor that doeth with the slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Generosity, giving generously to those in need. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7. Every man according to his own purpose in his heart, so let him give, not of necessary, for God loveth a cheerful giver. Discernment. This is an important value for men, right? Leading, spiritually speaking, leading the family, spiritually speaking, is using discernment. Discernment is knowing the difference. Possessing the ability to judge between right and wrong. So once again, is knowing the difference. Where modern Christianity, modern society, worldly views, and all modern religions go astray in the modern times, especially in Western culture, is not allowing men to use discernment. They say that you're judging. What am I judging? Well, you know in right from wrong. But we don't want to call it right from wrong. We want to call it something goofy. Rename it. Reword it. But anything right from wrong, right? Everybody gets a trophy. But we need to have discernment. Here it is. This is where you find the Bible. 1 Kings 3:9. Give, therefore, the servant understanding. art to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad, for who is able to judge this thy so great a people? In forgiveness, God asks us to forgive our brothers, our sisters. And if you have something against your mom, your parents, go and forgive them. Repent. Go to God. This Sunday morning, do worship service with your fellow Christians. And let's see what this Bible verse supports, how it supports forgiveness. Showing compassion and being willing to forgive others. Ephesians 4:32, and be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, had forgiven you. That's incredible. God, through the Lord Jesus Christ, forgives us when we ask for forgiveness. In our very last one, this is our number 20 out of King James Version, the fear of the Lord, a deep reverence and respect for God, which is the beginning of wisdom. And you should always respect your parents, your family, or people in authority, right? Older generation respect the elders, and have common respect for those that are on the same level, and your subordinates when correctly to do so. Proverbs 9:10 is where we find it in our great Bible, King James Version. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So if you like this content, like and subscribe, and do more Bible studies with us, as we will probably be adding a buy me a coffee. You can always donate to our mission. Our mission is real simple, making men better individuals so they can lead their families with holiness of family values. Without family values, you really have no family. You have to have values to give to your children so they have understanding, wisdom, and all that good stuff that we just talked about. And if we can put out this message reminding all men that they are called to be fathers to their children, so the children can recognize them as their fathers. And the children will return their hearts to the fathers, and the fathers will return their hearts to their children. Forget about what society tells us. Forget about all the people that don't care about modern Christianity or the Old Testament that is brought to us from our friends throughout the world, the Jews. In modern Christianity, we continue to use the Old Testament as a great book of wisdom with the New Testament, and we're supposed to live our lives as such in the teachings of the Bible, walking by faith on the narrow path that Christ talked about. Many are called, few are chosen, and I hope to see you at the end of the narrow path before God's throne on the day of judgment, and hope to see you at the end. As what was his name? Zig Ziglar used to say, "See you at the top." Right? See you at the top of the mountain. See you at the top of the Mount Zion. See you on Judgment Day, when God's throne is the New Jerusalem. Right? New Jerusalem. It's about 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. That's New Jerusalem. It's all the land surrounding Jerusalem. It's going to be parts of Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jerusalem, definitely Israel, all of Israel, Golan Heights, Lebanon, Syria, parts of Iraq, parts of Turkey. It's probably going to include Cyprus, parts of the Eastern Mediterranean, parts of Nile, Egypt, Red Sea. It's going to be a lot. And if that's where the New Jerusalem is, it's going to be interesting. But that's for Revelations. So you can look that up and do your Bible study with me another time on that subject. Thanks again, and if you like this content, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.